This is how electronic engineers are listening to music. So the PCB for today's project is creating plasma. It uses a lot of power and a huge flyback transformer, and it has a Bluetooth audio input. I want to create a plasma vortex. But a vortex that also plays music. That should be fun. So let me show you the circuit, the PCB and the needed parts for such a project, and also how a plasma vortex is formed. Stay till the end if you want to see all the results. That being said, let's get started. What's up my friends, welcome back. This is not my first project of a flyback plasma speaker, but this one will be a bit different and a lot cooler, so stay till the end. Today I want to use this PCB to generate the signals and convert the music to plasma sparks together with this flyback transformer. This time I'm using a bigger transformer and I hope it will give me a lot more power than before. The PCB for today is based on a circuit by Franzoli Electronics, so please, as a support, check his YouTube channel. Thanks a lot. The PCB is simple but powerful. It uses a 555 timer together with a music input and an op amp to switch on and off a MOSFET and apply that signal to the transformer, and that's it. So if you want to make the same project, you can download from below the Gerbers for my PCB design and go to PCBWay.com. As always, to order a PCB you click the order now button and here you add the size of the PCB and the amount. For the color I select the red one. Remember that with PCBWay you can get a $5 coupon for the first order and 10 PCBs would cost you only $5. Save to cart and on the next page upload the Gerber files. Place the order and in just a few days I received my new PCBs, ready for the project. I've been using PCBWay for years already and I can assure you that the quality is great. I've made the PCB using only through-hole components so anyone could solder it without any problems. We need a 555 timer, a simple op amp, a big MOSFET, and the rest are just basic components such as resistors, capacitors, diodes and connectors. Some capacitors are electrolytic and some others are film capacitors, so make sure that you check the full part list below together with the schematic for the values of each component. This is the schematic and it has 4 main blocks: the power input and regulation, the music input and the zero cross detection of the signal, the 555 oscillation generator, and the power control with the MOSFET. To finish this project you also need a flyback transformer such as this one, audio and power connectors, a round magnet such as this one, and a copper rod like this one. If the circuit works as I want, in the future I also want to add a 3D printed enclosure, so stay tuned for that. Now let's assemble the PCB. I first add the power connectors and the capacitors. Then I solder all the resistors. Check the schematic for each value. Then I add the sockets for the ICs. I add the small capacitors as well. And finally I solder the big high voltage capacitors. And the MOSFET will get soldered on the bottom side. And we do that so we can bend it and add a heat dissipator, because it will get quite hot. I've burned a few MOSFETs for this project. Actually I had to solder the PCB once again, because the first time it didn't work, and I spent days and I still don't know why. Now this is the new PCB, and is on top of a bigger heat dissipator from a PC cooler. I connect the transformer primary wires to the PCB output. And by the way, I've also broken a flyback transformer during this project, and these are a bit expensive. Anyway, for the music I get this Bluetooth receiver, and I will play some music from my smartphone. The Bluetooth receiver is connected to the audio input. I want to play some keygen music because it sounds very well with this kind of plasma speakers. I power the PCB with 24 volts from a powerful supply because this circuit uses a lot of power, most of which is dissipated as heat into the MOSFET. That's why I need such a big heat dissipator. Now let's check it out. It sounds quite good and also creating pretty big plasma arcs. But for now these results are pretty close to my previous plasma speaker. That's why we start with the second part of this project. I want to create a plasma vortex. And for that we add a round magnet. I first tried to use this big one but with no results. Because you see, the magnet is too big but also too weak for the vortex. So I've ordered this other one which is smaller and also it is a neodymium magnet, so it's stronger. You see, when the electrons are flying from the wires to the magnet, they get affected by the magnetic field. That's why they will create a circular path, creating the so-called vortex of plasma. I will have this rod connected to positive and the magnet connected to negative. The rod will stay in the middle of the magnet, so let's give it a test. Well guys, it works as I was expecting. We can hear the music but also see the plasma vortex that is created inside of the magnet. Actually, this is pretty cool to watch. So the PCB circuit and the magnet configuration works. To get a better vortex, I could also shape the copper rod tip into a point. Also, the MOSFET was still getting too hot, even with this huge dissipator. So I have to fix that. My idea for the future is to create a 3D enclosure in the shape of a pyramid and have the vortex in the middle, playing some music, and the electronics would be below. It will look very futuristic and cool. So if you want to try this project, you can get the schematic and the PCB from below, together with the full part list, and make your own plasma vortex speaker. Check Franzoli Electronics for more information. If you like my video, consider giving me a like or comment below. Thanks again and see you later guys. So guys, here I am in my workshop, another video that ended. I hope that you like it, and the most important part, I hope that you have learned something new. Anyway, I just wanted to give a thank you to all my patrons, to you guys, to the viewers who are supporting me, liking my content, sharing it, commenting below. Just check my website, check my shop, check my t-shirts. All this kind of stuff will support my channel, so thank you very much once again.